The sleek ships of the Galactic Alliance hung in Earth's orbit like polished obsidian daggers against the starlit void. Commander Juu Park stood at the observation deck of the International Space Station, her expression unreadable as she studied the alien vessels through reinforced glass. "They've requested a formal delegation," said Captain Taeyeon Kim, sliding a tablet across the table. "The United Nations has selected you to lead our representatives." Juu raised an eyebrow. "Me? I'm a military strategist, not a diplomat." "That's exactly why they chose you. Something about these aliens doesn't add up. They possess technology centuries beyond ours, yet they're approaching us with caution." Juu couldn't argue with that logic. For weeks, the world had watched in awe and fear as the alien fleet arrived. Yet instead of conquest, they requested talks. It made no sense. 3 weeks later, Juu found herself aboard the Alliance flagship. The air smelled faintly metallic. Lights pulsed along curved corridors in patterns that seemed almost alive. She tried to appear calm despite her racing heart. Ambassador Ellick sat across from her, a tall, gray-skinned being with 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected light like polished gems. 2 of his hands remained perfectly still on the table while the others gestured as he spoke. "Humans are quite fascinating," Ellick said, mandibles clicking softly. "We welcome Earth to galactic society with great interest." Juu couldn't shake the feeling that she was being studied like a specimen. "Earth is honored to join the galactic community. We have much to learn, but also much to offer." The meeting continued with basic diplomatic exchanges. Juu noticed how the alien delegates kept their distance, how their posture shifted whenever humans made sudden movements. It reminded her of prey animals watching a predator. "We would be pleased to share our medical technology," offered one delegate from a species of blue-skinned humanoids. "Your current methods of treating illness seem primitive." "Primitive but effective," Juu countered. "Humans are remarkably resilient. Our immune systems adapt quickly." The blue alien exchanged glances with its companions. Juu caught what seemed like concern in their expressions. During discussions about resource access in the asteroid belt, the Kelvarians, insectoid beings with translucent exoskeletons, grew visibly agitated. "Earth plans to establish mining colonies throughout your solar system within 50 years, asked their leader, antennae twitching rapidly. "Yes," Juu confirmed. "Our population is growing. We need resources to expand." The entire Kelvarian delegation abruptly excused themselves, abandoning negotiations entirely. The meeting adjourned early amid confused murmurs. "Did we offend them?" Juu asked her aide, Min-Soo Choi, as they walked back to their quarters. "I don't think so," Min-Soo replied, frowning at his notes. "But did you see how they reacted when you mentioned our colonization timeline? It was almost like fear." That night, Juu couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the day's events in her mind. She pulled up footage from Earth's first contact broadcast on her tablet. "We come in peace," the Alliance representative had said. "Standard first contact protocol. Yet why choose peace with a civilization so technologically inferior?" Earth had nothing the Alliance couldn't take by force. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. A message from Ellick. "Commander Park, might we speak privately? There are matters I wish to discuss without the full delegation present." Intrigued, Juu agreed to meet in the ship's arboretum, a vast chamber filled with plant specimens from across the galaxy. Ellick was waiting beside a glowing blue tree. "Thank you for coming, Commander. What did you want to discuss? I noticed your confusion today. You wonder why we approach Earth with such deference." Juu nodded slowly. "The thought had crossed my mind. There is much you don't know about your place in the galaxy, about how your species is perceived." Ellick's compound eyes seemed to dim slightly. "Not all in the Alliance agree you should be told." "Told what?" "That you are unique, remarkable, and to many species, terrifying." Juu stared at him. "Terrifying. We can barely leave our own solar system. Technology is not what makes a species dangerous, Commander Park. Alec's voice dropped lower. It's what they're willing to endure to survive, what they're capable of when threatened. A chill ran down Juwu's spine. Before she could respond, Alec's communication device chimed. His posture stiffened immediately. I've said too much. We will continue this discussion another time. He turned to leave, then paused. Watch carefully how the others behave around your delegation, Commander. The answers you seek are in their reactions. As Alec departed, Juwu stood alone in the alien garden, wondering what about humanity could possibly frighten beings who traveled between stars as easily as humans crossed oceans. The cultural exchange program started 1 week after the first meeting. Each species would show their unique abilities and cultural practices. Juwu watched with pride as her team took their turn to demonstrate human capabilities. Dr. Hyunwoo Kang stepped onto the track in the ship's high-gravity section. This area was set to 1.8 times Earth's normal gravity. Most alien visitors used mobility aids here or avoided it entirely. Are you certain this is safe? Asked Science Director Vreelex. The alien's body resembled a giant octopus with pale green skin. Their 7 tentacles moved constantly, expressing concern. Perfectly safe, Hyunwoo said with a smile. Humans adapt quickly to different gravity conditions. Hyunwoo began to run. The first lap was visibly difficult, his body adjusting to the extra weight. By the third lap, his stride had become smooth and confident. Alien scientists watched with growing interest, recording data on their devices. After completing what would equal a full marathon on Earth, Hyunwoo stopped, breathing only slightly harder than normal. He wiped a small amount of sweat from his brow. Extraordinary, murmured Vreelex, their tentacles writhing in what Juwu had learned was their species' expression of surprise. Your cardiovascular recovery rate is unprecedented. That's normal for a trained human athlete, Juwu explained. Our bodies are designed to run for long periods. Our ancestors hunted by chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. The aliens exchanged meaningful glances. One of them whispered something that sounded like persistence predator to another. Later that week, engineer Jihai Lee was installing Earth communication equipment in their designated quarters. She accidentally cut her hand on a sharp edge of alien metal. Blood dripped onto the floor. 3 Alliance medics rushed over in panic. They seemed more concerned than the injury warranted. Please remain calm, the lead medic said, pulling out a medical scanner. We will treat the wound immediately. It's just a small cut, Jai said, looking confused. She pulled a tissue from her pocket and pressed it against the wound. When she removed it 30 seconds later, the bleeding had already slowed significantly. The aliens stared in fascination as the wound clotted within minutes. You should see our soldiers, Jai joked. I once saw a man take shrapnel to the leg and still complete the extraction mission. The aliens exchanged troubled glances. One of them whispered urgently to another in their own language. That evening, Juwu attended a formal dinner with Alliance representatives. She noticed how the other species ate very specific foods, often through specialized feeding tubes or breathing apparatuses. Your species can consume almost anything organic, noted Ambassador Alec. Most civilized species have highly specialized diets. Humans are omnivores, Juwu explained. We can digest a wide variety of foods. And poisons? Asked another alien. How many toxic substances can you survive? The question seemed odd, but Juwu answered honestly. Our livers can process many toxins. In small amounts, humans can build tolerance to certain poisons over time. The room grew noticeably quieter. Later, Juwu overheard 2 aliens speaking in what they thought was a private corner. The records were accurate, one said, perhaps even understated. Did you see the female's wound heal? The High Council must be informed. Driven's faction is wrong. Humans are exactly what the archives claim, perhaps worse. That night, Minsu slipped into Juwu's quarters, his face pale. He looked over his shoulder as the door closed, clearly nervous. "Commander, I found something." He pulled out a small crystal device he had taken from the alien archives. "I've been learning their data systems. They've been studying us for centuries." "What?" Ju took the crystal. "How is that possible? We only discovered radio technology 100 years ago." "They've been watching Earth since the dawn of human civilization. Look at this." Minsu activated the crystal, projecting ancient cave paintings, Egyptian pyramids, Roman legions, all recorded by hidden alien observers. And there are references to something called the Persistence Protocol. It's highly classified, but from what I could translate, it's clear they're afraid of us, not the other way around. Ju studied the projection with growing unease. What about us scares them so much? We're centuries behind their technology. "I don't know exactly, but I found medical scans comparing human physiology to other species." Minsu showed her the diagrams. "Look at our pain threshold, endurance levels, and recovery rates. We're off the charts compared to every other intelligent species." "That can't be right," Ju said. "We're not special. To them, we are." Minsu's voice dropped to a whisper. "Commander, I think they see us as dangerous, not because of our weapons or technology, but because of what we are." Ju remembered Ambassador Ellick's strange words in the Arboretum. She looked at the data again, seeing her species through alien eyes for the first time. "We need to learn more about this persistence protocol," she said finally. "Find someone who will talk to us. There must be a reason they're treating us like we're made of glass." It took Ju 3 days to find an ally among the aliens. Scientist Kuzor approached her after a tense meeting about Earth's military capabilities. Unlike most Alliance members, his species had only 2 arms and walked upright. His skin glowed with a soft blue light that changed with his emotions. "Commander Park," he said quietly, "I believe you seek answers. I may be able to help." That night, Ju met Kuzor in a quiet part of the ship. The alien looked around nervously before speaking. "I am risking much by showing you this," whispered Kuzor, his luminescent skin dimming with anxiety as he led Ju through restricted areas. They stopped at a door marked with strange symbols. "The archives," Kuzor explained. "Few have access." He placed his hand on a scanner. The door slid open silently. Inside was a vast room filled with floating holographic displays and crystal storage units. "Why are you helping me?" Ju asked. "My people believe in truth," Kuzor said simply. "And I have come to respect humans. You deserve to know how you are viewed by the galaxy." He activated a central console. A 3-dimensional model of Earth appeared, rotating slowly. "Earth is classified as a death world," Kuzor explained, accessing protected files. "Your planet's gravity, atmospheric composition, temperature variations, and predator diversity make it one of the most hostile inhabited planets in known space." Ju frowned. "But Earth seems perfectly normal to us." "That is precisely the point," Kuzor said. "What you consider normal would kill most sentient species in the Alliance. Your gravity alone would crush many of our member races." The display changed to show a human outline next to various alien forms. "Your bones are incredibly dense. Your skin can repair itself from wounds that would be fatal to others. You can survive temperature ranges that would kill most species." Ju stared at the holographic display, showing human biological metrics compared to other species. "Our endurance is 10 times the galactic average." "At minimum," Kuzor confirmed. "Most intelligent life evolved on stable, safe worlds with few predators and consistent climate. They never develop your physical resilience or psychological determination." He pulled up another display showing early humans hunting on the African savanna. "Your species evolved as persistence hunters," Kuzor continued. "Most sentient species evolved from prey animals or specialized predators. Humans are unique. You simply don't stop. We just chase animals until they get tired," Ju said. "It's not that special." "It is unheard of," Kuzor corrected. "No other known intelligent species hunts this way. The psychological profile it created is disturbing to many races. The display shifted to historical footage that made Ju gasp. The images showed primitive humans, dressed in animal skins, fighting against what appeared to be armored aliens with advanced weapons. The date marker indicated it was from 15,000 Earth years ago. The Drakari Empire attempted colonization, Kuzor said quietly. They were technologically superior in every way. I've never seen this in our history, Ju whispered. The evidence was destroyed or hidden. Humans were not meant to remember. The footage showed humans being struck down by energy weapons, only to return in greater numbers the next day. They studied the alien weapons, adapted their tactics, and kept attacking despite terrible losses. What happened to them? Ju asked, though she suspected the answer. Extinction. Your ancestors just kept coming, night after night, adapting to every weapon and tactic. The Drakari couldn't comprehend an enemy that never retreated, that learned from every defeat. The final images showed the last Drakari ship attempting to leave Earth, only to crash when primitive humans somehow damaged its engines. This is why the Alliance approached Earth peacefully, Kuzor said. We learned from the Drakari's mistake. Ju's blood ran cold as she finally understood. The Persistence Protocol. It's an automatic diplomatic directive, Kuzor confirmed. Any species with your psychological profile must be approached with extreme caution. Conflict is to be avoided at all costs. He showed her another file labeled Human Recovery Rate. It contained footage of human soldiers continuing to fight despite injuries that would incapacitate any other species. You can function at near-peak efficiency despite blood loss, broken bones, extreme fatigue, and psychological stress. Kuzor explained, a human at 30% capacity is more dangerous than most species at 100%. We're not monsters, Ju protested. We just evolved to survive. The Alliance doesn't see you as monsters, Kuzor said gently, but many fear what humans might become if provoked. Your technological development rate is also unprecedented. You went from primitive flight to space travel in less than a century. Ju thought of humanity's bloody history, the constant wars and conflicts. Maybe they're right to fear us. Fear is not always bad, Kuzor said. Fear can lead to respect. The Alliance doesn't want humans as enemies. We want you as allies, once you understand your place in the galaxy. As they left the archives, Ju noticed new meaning in the careful way aliens treated humans. It wasn't deference, it was caution. The kind shown to a dangerous animal one hopes not to provoke. Ju couldn't sleep after her meeting with Kuzor. She paced her quarters, mind racing with everything she had learned. When Minsu arrived for their morning briefing, she told him everything. So they're afraid of us? Minsu asked, astonished. Not all of them, Ju said. There's a faction led by someone named Dreven. They think the old records are wrong or exaggerated. What does that mean for us? Ju stopped pacing. Kuzor warned me to be careful. Dreven wants proof that humans are as dangerous as the records claim. A test. What kind of? The ship lurched suddenly, throwing them both against the wall. Red lights flashed as alarms blared throughout the vessel. Ju tried the communication panel to contact Earth, but all she got was static. The main screen in her quarters activated automatically. A new alien appeared, larger than Ambassador Elec, with dark purple skin and multiple yellow eyes arranged in a circle around its head. Greetings, humans. I am Faction Leader Dreven, the alien announced. Your species has been the subject of much debate within the Alliance. Some believe you are dangerous. Others, like myself, believe these fears are based on outdated information. Ju stepped toward the screen. What have you done? This is our chance to observe authentic human response patterns, came Dreven's reply. A regrettable but necessary evaluation. Your planet now faces what appears to be an invasion fleet. How your kind responds will determine future relations with the Alliance. The screen went dark. Moments later, The door to their quarters sealed shut with a heavy click. "They've locked us in," Minsu said, trying the door. "Not just us," Ju said grimly. "They're testing all of humanity." Over the next 3 days, Ju and Minsu could only watch through their viewing screens as the Alliance simulated escalating threats against Earth. First came the appearance of a massive warship in orbit. Then small probes landed in major cities. Finally, they staged what looked like an attack on military bases around the world. What the aliens hadn't expected was the human response. Within hours, governments worldwide had united against the common threat. Ancient enemies shared intelligence and resources. Within days, factories had retooled for war production. Military forces coordinated global defense strategies. "It's remarkable," Minsu said, watching the news feeds they were permitted to see. "I've never seen countries work together like this." Even more surprising was how quickly humans adapted to alien technology. When a probe crashed in Japan, scientists there immediately began taking it apart. Within 12 hours, they had replicated its power source. Similar breakthroughs happened across the globe. On the second day, their door slid open, and Kuzor slipped inside. He looked nervous, his skin barely glowing. "I shouldn't be here," he whispered. "But I thought you should know what's happening." "Is Earth in real danger?" Ju demanded. "No, the weapons are not lethal. But Dreven's test has unexpected results. They're stunned by your people's ingenuity," he whispered. "Your scientists have already bypassed our level 3 encryption. This wasn't supposed to happen for at least a decade of contact." "You don't understand humans," Ju replied calmly. "Every problem is just a puzzle waiting to be solved. And when our survival is at stake, we solve puzzles very, very quickly." Kuzur's skin pulsed with what Ju now recognized as anxiety. "There's more. Your military forces are showing unusual coordination. And your weapons, you've modified them to be more effective against our shields." "Of course we have," said Minsu. "We learn and adapt. It's what humans do." On the third day, the viewing screen showed something that made even Ju gasp. A small Earth military force had managed to capture an Alliance scout ship that ventured too close to the planet's surface. The humans had somehow detected its cloaking technology, disabled its defenses, and taken the crew alive. 2 hours later, all the alarms on the ship suddenly stopped. The doors to their quarters opened. Ambassador Elik himself came to escort them to the command center. Dreven was there, surrounded by other Alliance leaders. His yellow eyes seemed dimmer than before. "The exercise is concluded," he announced, his voice noticeably shaken. "We have sufficient data." "Was it what you expected?" Ju asked. "No," Dreven admitted. "Your species' response was beyond our projections. In 3 days, you made technological advances that should have taken years. Your military coordination was impressive and terrifying," added another alien leader. "Now you understand why the persistence protocol exists," Ambassador Elik said. "It is not based on superstition, but on observation and experience." Dreven stepped forward. "I formally apologize for this test. It was necessary to convince certain elements within the Alliance of the wisdom of peaceful relations with Earth." "And are they convinced now?" Ju asked. "Very much so," Dreven replied, something like respect in his alien eyes. "The Alliance will return to peaceful negotiations immediately, with a new appreciation for humanity's unique qualities." 1 month after the test, Ju stood in the Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Alliance. The room was massive, with seating for thousands of delegates from across the galaxy. The ceiling showed a real-time view of the stars outside, making it feel like they were floating in space. Earth had been invited to join the Alliance as a full member, much sooner than anyone expected. Ju had been chosen to represent humanity at this historic moment. She wore her formal military uniform, the only human in a sea of alien faces. The Grand Council chamber fell silent as Ju finished her address. Thousands of delegates from across the galaxy watched as she stood, unwavering, before them. Some watched with respect, others with clear unease. Humanity does not seek conquest, she concluded. We seek understanding. But know this, we will defend ourselves, no matter the cost, no matter how long it takes. Her words hung in the air. Then High Chancellor Morvex rose from his seat. He was taller than most aliens, with 6 eyes arranged in a circle around his head and skin that shimmered like oil on water. Morvex approached the podium, all 6 eyes fixed on Juwu. The Alliance formally recognizes Earth as a full member with special classification. Your technological development will be accelerated through knowledge exchange. Applause filled the chamber, though Juwu noted it was not universal. Some delegates remained silent, watching with caution. Earth was being welcomed, but also watched. Later, at the formal reception, Juwu found herself speaking with elder historian Pelax. The ancient being looked like a tree that had decided to walk, with bark-like skin and branches that moved like arms. Pelax's species was among the oldest in the galaxy, having achieved space travel when humans were still living in caves. Your speech was wise, Commander Park, Pelax said, voice like rustling leaves. Few new species understand their place in the galactic order so quickly. We're still learning, Juwu replied, but we know that peace benefits everyone. Pelax's branches swayed gently. There were others like you, the ancient being said, species with your determination. The Veltraxians could regenerate from nearly any injury. The Corvin could go months without sleep during war. All eventually became dominant powers. And where are they now? Juwu asked, though she suspected the answer. Gone. They conquered until there was nothing left to conquer, then turned on themselves. Their determination became their undoing. That's a sad story, Juwu said. It is the story of many remarkable species, Pelax replied. They believe their strengths make them invincible. They never learn restraint. Juwu thought for a moment, then smiled. Perhaps that's where we differ. Humans have something else alongside our persistence, hope. We don't just endure, we dream. Pelax studied her with ancient eyes. An interesting perspective. Perhaps you are right. Across the room, Juwu spotted Ambassador Elik speaking with Kuzur. The scientist had been made Earth's official liaison after his help during the crisis. Kuzur caught her eye and nodded respectfully. Your species surprised us, faction leader Drevin said, appearing suddenly beside her. I did not believe the old records. I was wrong. Was the test necessary? Juwu asked, still not fully forgiving the danger Earth had faced. Yes, Drevin said bluntly. Without it, many would have pushed for more. Direct measures to contain human expansion. Contain. Juwu frowned. Some feared you would become like the others Pelax mentioned. They thought it safer to limit your growth early. Driven's yellow eyes seemed to glow brighter. Your response to our test proved that would be impossible and unwise. As they spoke, across the room, the Alliance Defense Committee was updating the official protocol regarding Earth. The new classification appeared on screens throughout the galaxy. Humanity, approach with respect. Negotiate in good faith. Avoid conflict at all costs. In peace, the strongest allies. In war, unconquerable. 6 months later, Juwu stood on the observation deck of the International Space Station, just as she had when the aliens first arrived. Now Earth ships flew alongside Alliance vessels. Human scientists worked with alien colleagues. The knowledge exchange had already advanced Earth technology by decades. Minsu joined her at the window. Hard to believe how much has changed, he said. They're still afraid of us, Juwu replied. That hasn't changed. But they respect us too, Minsu pointed out. Fear and respect aren't so different. Juwu watched an Earth ship practicing maneuvers with an alien vessel. The real test is still ahead of us, she said, not proving our strength, but proving our wisdom. What do you mean? The Veltraxians, the Corvin, they had the same gifts we do. But they couldn't stop fighting. We need to show the galaxy that humans can be powerful without being dangerous. As she spoke, a message came through on her communicator. Earth had been invited to join the Alliance's diplomatic corps, a position of trust never before offered to a new species. It seems we're already making progress, Minsu said, reading the message. Jiwoo smiled. This is just the beginning. We have a whole galaxy to explore, and this time, no one is running away. The end.